Evening all. Evening all. Yes, Mike. Mad Skangs, CP, OG Knockout Boxing UK, the Northern King, Mike Crammer. Big up, big up, big up. Yes, people. Nice to see you all back. CPS, Steve Cunningham. Yeah. Big up, everyone. So, I'll have a little look at the comments every now and then just to keep you up. For those who keep thinking I'm not live. Right, so we got up to 19 yesterday. It was, so yeah. First and foremost, I've got to thank everybody for supporting, staying on top of this journey, spreading the message, spreading the love, spreading the wisdom, because we know what it's all about, really. So, in no way, shape or form am I condoning, glamorising or spotlighting crime, violent acts of violence and aggression as sort of acceptable behaviour, conduct, or whatever you want to call it. You know, I do not believe that you have to be violent in any way, shape or form in life. I do not believe you need to go to prison. I do not believe you need to break the law. People choose to do these things, like I was the main sort of, what do they call them, perpetrator. So I'm a fine one to talk. I spent 42 years as a hardened criminal, and I learned in life that shortcuts are not always the best cuts, if that makes sense. So the reason why I do what I'm doing, and the reason why I'll continue doing what I'm doing, because I believe we're changing the narrative. Lives are going to be changed, narratives are going to be changed, and we've all got the key. Right? Now, there's a lot of young kids out there now that really believe that they're going to make it on this journey, on this road of crime and destruction, you know, and it's sad to know the reality. Do you understand? So that's why I will continue doing what I'm doing, and that's why I will continue to demonstrate the barbaric insanity which led me to become 50 years of age, wise, and not yet full of total wisdom, because I'm still learning, but I'm at 50 years of age and I'm still learning. Do you get it? Because I was so deep in it, it was unreal. Like, even when I think about things, it's, you just think, wow, like, that's where they're heading. Like, I see where you're all going. If you're on this journey and you think you're going to be a bad man, you think you're going to be Keiko, you think you're going to be successful, think again, please. Yeah, it ain't worth it. It ain't going to amount to what you believe. Your belief is far greater than your achievement possibilities, and that's a fact. It really is. Like, you're going to be handling, flipping, doing, busy. Everybody knows you. Everybody sees you. Everybody wants to be a part of you, right? But you're not sort of expecting or projecting the pitfalls and the hurdles, you know, and they're there. Although you can't see them yet because you love and trust everyone around you. But we are going to demonstrate, okay? We are going to demonstrate the pitfalls and hurdles through this journey, transition, and my journey and story, right? So I'm giving you the storyline, and then we're going to get deep into each section of the storyline, right? So it's finishing up on the back end of one bit of trauma always led into another bit of trauma. So prior to the step up in the criminal fraternity, so to speak, you know, it was, and this is why I've got to do this, right? Because at the time of my life, yeah, this time I'm discussing, I actually believed, I actually wanted this stuff. I actually said, yeah, do you know what? I'm going away. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. If I get nicked, I'm going to get this long. I'm going to do that. And fuck it. That's what I told myself. I was prepared for every consequence. So when I think it was 18 or 19, I'm not exactly directly sure. And so I should have got them bloody CBR check out. I've got to keep meaning to drag it out. I will drag it out and we'll go through it at the end anyway, right? Just to put things in better order. I should be more organised. I know this, but I have an excuse. I did get shot in the frontal lobe, and I do have a bit of an issue, but nonetheless, the last bit of bag was finishing. Sort of, it blew up, calmed down, and sort of everybody was just seeing how the land laid, you know, and then there was a night that I was driving past the Camden Palace, and I see a bouncer on the door. Was it? So it must have been a year. So after the drama with a little firm who cut me and come to my house with tools and all that, basically everyone was on high alert. Everyone was paranoid. Everyone was edgy. Tools was getting carried about. It was like everyday occurrence, right? So I had to have a tool just in case we bumped into certain people when we was out, right? And then I've gone to Camden Palace, and my brother had just got out. My brother just got out, and he's in Camden Palace with a few people. He's partying, doing what he's doing, and then I was meeting him in there. As I went down there, one of my pals' nephews is on the door talking to one, and the bouncer's at the back. As I'm driving down, I've seen him. So I said, what's happening, brother? How you getting on? You all right? Give him a cuddle. I said, how's your uncle? Like, because I'm not mentioning names for specific reasons, right? So I said, how's your uncle? He said, yeah, he's sweet. I said, do me a favour, can you get him to come and see me, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, sweet. Anyway, he's introduced me to Silky. I said, how we doing, mate? Lovely, nice to meet you. Anyway, I've just jumped in the car, drove round the thing, parked up, and then I've walked in. Or queued up like everybody else, and then I've just walked in. Walking, found my brother and that. And then basically, I found my brother in the far corner with a few of his mates from Camden and Kentish Town. He was with a couple of birds and that. And they was all having a little bit of a party. So I've gone and bottled a couple of bottles of champagne, brought them down, give them all a couple of bottles of champagne. So I'm standing there, and I can't. I had like a navy blue cashmere Gant. So I was mad about Gant, Gant. So I had this mad cashmere Gant. Sort of, it was like an overcoat, but it weren't thick. It was like a thin cashmere, like a schmuck, but long, like a full length schmuck. It's kind of hard to explain, but it was like a cashmere coat down to my knees. And then I had like a blazer, a jumper and trousers and a watch. And I had a gold Boulevard watch. Yeah. And it was 14 carat Boulevard. It was one of the first ever Boulevard watches made, and it was my prized possession. I love this watch. It was like a tank face chronograph, old though, really small chronographs, and then a leather strap. And it weren't worth hundreds of fucking, it weren't a couple of grand, nothing really, really expensive. It was just a decent watch. Anyway, so I'm there giving it the big, and I'm quietly dancing, giving everybody drink. all of a sudden I've just seen a couple of people. Yeah, I won't. I don't know how they feel, and I don't know what they'd say, but I've seen someone back in the day. Anyway, I've seen a couple of people eyeing me up, and I was like, right, who are they? And then I don't know why. You know, you get paranoid. You think, right, let me just wait. If they get any closer, if they get any closer, anyway, they got too close. So basically, as they got sort of close enough, and then I can't even remember exactly what happened, to be honest. But what I do know is I believe that these two geezers was going to try to move to me for my watch. They walk through. I see him in the crowd. I see him in the crowd. Next thing, they're next to me, and the geezer wants to talk to me. So I'm putting two and two together, and just thought, yeah. So I've done one with a bottle, and then I've done one. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I've done one with the bottle and I've done one with the end of the bottle, and then they've sort of run off the dance floor, and then about 5-10 minutes later, that same bouncer, and I say black, right, and I've got to emphasise blacker than me, yeah, and you'll understand why in a minute. So, and this is a geezer who's talking to my pal's nephew outside, right? So he's walked up to me and he said, Marv, can I have a word a minute? I said, yeah, what's the matter, mate? He said, oh, what's just happened? I said, mate, geezer just tried to have my watch, you know. He went, what? I said, geezer just tried to have my watch. He said, can I have a word a minute? So I said, yeah, sweet, not a problem. So my brother's gone, what's the matter? I said, I don't know, mate, I was going to have a word a minute. So I've walked out, and my brother's walked out behind me. And my brother could have a round back in the day. Everyone knows Scousbury from back in the day. So as I've walked out, I've sort of opened the door to walk out. And as I've opened the door, one bouncer's grabbed me there and one bouncer's grabbed me there. So I've looked, so I said, what are you doing? And then, you know, you just see a movement. I've seen a movement, and as I've looked up, it's gone bang. He's hit me on the head. I don't know who it was who's hit me on the head, but he's hit me on the head with a bottle, split my head open, and then it's just kicked off. So I cannot remember the fight, but what I remember is we're having it. Me and my brother got split up, and then my brother ended up outside, and I'm inside, and then I just got overpowered, and I'm on the floor, right? And I'm still fighting, kicking, having it. They've overpowered me, got me down, and then this one banter. Now, I don't know why, to this day, Silky, yeah, done this. I don't know why he said it, and I don't know why he done it, but he did. He got down, and maybe it was because of all of his pals, yeah. But because he done it to me, I don't mind exposing old Noel Williams for this, yeah. So he got down on one knee, yeah, held me by the scruff of my neck, punched me in my face, and called me a black cunt. Ah, imagine that. I'm looking at him, right? He's punching me, you black cunt. I thought, do you know what? The last fucking thing you're going to hear is footsteps, you cheeky cunt. And he's blacker than me. And I just thought, why would you say something like that? Like, think about it, yeah? Anyway, so he's punching me. My brother's doing the door, all the glasses coming through. I can't really remember what happened, but I ended up outside. Did the police come? I can't even remember what happened, but I ended up outside with my brother and we were walking up the road. Yeah, we're walking up the road. And then, yeah, because we got to the top of the road, yeah, and then fucking, my brother's talking about, why have I started on him? Why have I started? You do. And then he's done me and knocked me tooth out. Yeah, knocked my tooth out. Anyway, all the mouse bust, tooth's gone. I'm fuming with my brother now. Me and my brother having murders for a couple of weeks. And obviously, everyone knows my brother, and me and my brother had murders growing up. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But you needed a tool with my brother as well. So it was one of them scenarios. I was kind of always walking about with tools, always walking about with handy bits. And then on one night, I'm driving down past the palace. I've seen the bouncer on the back door, wound down the window. He's run off, gone in the gaff, so I've just drove off and gone home. By the time I got home, old Bill lay down, armed police, armed police, armed police, armed police. So I've took off through the flat, like through the, because I lived on Belsize Avenue, and I lived in a, like, it looks like a private block of flats next to some big houses. And I've slipped down the alley there, jumped into the garden, and then by the time I got through, they was already at the top, and they was lay down, lay down, lay down. I had to lay down. And then I got nicked and went away. And that was when I went Feltham. Yeah, so that's when I went Feltham. And I met all the members. Yeah, that was when everyone thought they were big men. So I landed in Feltham. What wing did I go on? Who did I bang up with? 17. See, that's the thing about this memory of mine. So I get to Feltham. I'm 19. I was 19. So I'm on Partridge. That was it, yeah. So I get on Partridge wing right now. Sorry about the recall and a little delay in that, yeah, but I've got to remember stuff and remember what I was like, where I was, what I was wearing. So I had, and I'll describe what I used to wear, right? So I'm 19, I had a cashmere jacket, like a cashmere bomber jacket with leather calfskin sleeves, right? And it was a Gant, G-A-N-T cashmere jacket with leather sleeves. I used to wear Nick Alfari sort of like round neck, really thin jumpers, and Chevron jeans, and what was the other things we used to wear? I can't remember. And loafers, yeah, because I was a nut. And anyone will tell you, I was a nut for Gucci loafers, right? So all I used to wear was Gucci loafers back in the day, in and out of prison. So when I turn up, I look like a dresser. So I've turned up. I'm on Partridge. Yeah. So we're in doing what you do. You know how jail is. So you go in, you meet some people you know from other jails, you know people from other sentences. So you fit straight in, you fly. You're like, I'm not going to start naming people because it causes a bit of issue. I can't have all the troll nonsense and people talking about shit, right? So everyone knows what it's like in Feltham. So I turn up in Feltham, 19. What was the ag? Because I was on Partridge and there was a bit of ag. Right, so Officer Powell, P.O. Powell, his name was. Right, so anyway, I gets on the wing, starts doing what I'm doing. And you know what it's like when you get in jail, you land, you got a bit of puff on you, you've always got snack, you've got your bits and pieces. Do you know what I'm saying? So I landed, I'm more like, I don't know how much puff I had, but I had a little bit of puff. The visit being the next day or two, so I know I'll be loaded up. So as soon as I land on the wing, I want to know who's got gear, who's doing what, blah, blah, blah. So you get on the wing, who's got the snap, who's double bubble, blah, blah, blah. Right. So you locate who's what, who's doing what, and then you sort of blend in. Next couple of days, I've had me visit, got me puff, done a couple of trades, couple of people, you know, like, I can't really remember relationships at this point in the prison because I'm trying to think of the process, what happened. But everyone knows what it's like in prison. Everyone knows everybody or knows someone that knows someone, right? So I've got on the wing, people that know me from wherever and whatever. It's like, nice one, Marv, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you're doing what you're doing. Anyway, so in the showers, the first 3 showers was sweet as a nut, but the first one was sick, yeah? So it was one of them things where you always wanted the first shower. So I've gone to the shower room one day and there's a kid in the shower. So I've looked in the shower, come out of the shower. 10, 15 minutes later, gone back, same kid's in the shower. Walk away. 10, 15 minutes later, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, gone back again. Same kid's in the shower. And I've done this 3 or 4 times and it's the same kid in the shower, yeah? So I've gone in the shower, said, bruv, do me a favour, yeah? I want to get a shower. Do you mind if I jump in the shower, you bruv? Didn't watch him. Yeah, use one of the others, bruv. And it was like this little kid, yeah? Like, because we was all kids, but it was like he was waiting for this argument, if that makes sense. Like, cause I went in there loads of times and I never went in. I just opened the door, see him in the shower and walked away. Opened the door, walked in the shower, walked away, right? So when I walked in there, I went, mate, do you mind if I jump in that shower? Knowing he's been in there long yet, watch the geezer. Yeah, use one of them. I thought, in my head, I thought, you cheeky cunt. Do you know what I mean? Like, who the fuck are you? Do you know what I mean? So I went, yeah. I went, put my gear down, got undressed, kept my pants on. Yeah, just walked up behind him, grabbed him by the head and just threw him out of the shower. Got in the shower, just started soaping myself up, yeah. And he must have run out of the shower room, run into the screws, started screaming to the screws. And then that PO and another screws come in the showers. Come on, Herbert, out of the shower. Like, I'm not covered in soap, but I've got soap on. And these are the times when you don't have your balls out. Do you know what I'm saying? You're still in boxer shorts. So I turned around, yeah, and remember, adults can't touch kids, and touching the naked man back in the day, especially in prison, is a no-no. You can't put your hand on a naked man and expect someone not to get angry. When I was growing up, it ain't happening. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm in the shower, he's coming, Herbert, get out. I said, yeah, relax, Gov, man. Relax, I'll get out in a minute. He said, no, Herbert, get out of the shower. I said, what are you talking about? The fuck? And he went, out of the shower. Now, I'm giving you a direct order. And I was like, wow, suck your mother. And then he put his hands on me like that. As he put his hands on me, I just hit him and headbutted him, and he flew back to the side of the shower and then run out, right? As he's run out, pressed the panic button, I've gone back, and people that know Feltham, the showers and that, yeah, you'll remember. As you walk in the toilet, the door opens and there's two baths behind the door. Yeah, so basically, as the door shuts, there's a little aisle that gets you in between the two baths, and that's where my clothes was. Yeah, so as I've run in there to get dried, the screws have come running through the door. Yeah, but because there's so many of them want to come through to get me, the door's got to shut. But they don't want the door to shut, so the room's filling up, and then there was too many of them to get in the gap. So I could fight, and I was punching their heads. I weren't punching their heads in like Rocky, like knocking them all out and that, but they split both my eyes open. They busted my lip. Do you know what I mean? I think they made my nose bleed and that. Do you know what I mean? I think I got a bust on the head when I got put on the floor, and they smashed me head off the floor. But I was there for about a good 5-10 minutes fighting with them, and then I got bent up. And then this is when I realised that I could take an hiding. Yeah. Now people know what the M1 like is in Feltham. Yeah. Now the reason why I'm saying all this stuff is this is the shit you need to take to be this guy. Like, it's not a joke, yeah? It's not a joke. So, I've done the screws, I've had the tear, now I'm going the block. I'm on Partridge Wing, right? So everybody knows Partridge Wing in Feltham. You come out of Partridge, you turn left, you go down, you go past the canteen, past the hospital, past the kitchen, and then you got the block, and then the gym, right? All of it, mate. I've had the fight, I've been bent up now, you bent up, your hands are up like you're like a chicken, yeah, and you're on the floor. And I'm telling you now, like, I actually understand why people get their compensation for, like, mistreatment in custody and stuff like that, yeah? Because I remember the hairstyle. I remember the flat top, blonde hair. This cunt of a man. And I don't know how many, I'm telling you now, I don't know how many times. Maybe when I got shot in my nuts, it never hurt. Maybe that's why, because this geezer kicked me in my nuts. Like, they had me on my floor, bent up, dragging me, right? And I'm talking, they were kicking me. They were stamping on me. I was getting booted in the face. Like, trust me, I was getting battered, mate, after I battered this PO, yeah? And they were, like, literally kicking me. Boom, boom, up my nuts. From Partridge all the way to the block, yeah? Kicking me, punching me. But basically, when we got into the block, they folded my arms up, folded my legs up, so they was kind of entwined with each other, yeah? And then the geezers punch me, yeah? And then they've all run out of the room and let go of me, and I've just all crumbled like that. And I thought, wow. And I've jumped up like, wow, fuck. And I'm, started booting the door, and then obviously you get a bit of adrenaline, and I was just a pain in the arse. And that was it then. In my head, I'm like, and you got these little mirrors, like stapled to the wall, yeah. So I looked in the mirror and I thought, wow, these lot ain't really fucked me up, man. They like, next thing the doors open, the nurses come in. Like, it's not pissing with blood. It was just like trickling at these stages, but the gashes was open, yeah. And like, she's come in, she said, look, you're gonna have to come to the hospital and get stitches. I was like, yeah, all right, sweet. So I went to the hospital, got the stitches, come back, went to the block. They banged me up, woke me up in the morning, and as I've opened the door, because they used to come round Or was it night time? Nah, they've come round night time with tea. And as I come out, open my door, obviously in the block you get, like, we're just different, right? So when you're in the block, it's just on, it's off. You're getting beaten up, you're having fights. As soon as your door's open, it's off, right? So my entertainment in the block, yeah, was fighting and getting over the beatings because it's easier to deal with being in the block on your own, right? So as soon as the door's open, it's like, what are you looking at, you mug? Bang, it's an argument, it's a fight, you're bent up, then you're put in a strip cell. Do you know what I mean? You're put in a strip cell for the half of the day, maybe coming into 9, 10 o'clock, and they come and say, right, you all right, go back in your cell. Sometimes if the dog's on, they make you at least stay in there till the morning, but then they put you back in your cell. So it breaks the week up. Do you know what I mean? And it's mad to say, but that's how I used to get through my bird, yeah? So, boom, back. Back. So he gets into Brixton. I walk into Brixton. I'm nicked for possession with the intent to endanger life. So I walk into Brixton, there's a few people on the wing, the big dread down the bottom, a couple of people on each landing. So I've walked on. I knew a couple of people, like literally a couple of people. Now, my mindset in prison was just have it. Don't matter who it is, just have it. Just have it. It don't matter. You're not going to fight long enough to lose, if that makes sense. Like, unless you get knocked spark out, you can't really lose a fight in prison. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the psychology that I've always had. Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't end. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't end. It's no longer than 30 seconds or a minute and then I'll bill on you. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. So in my head, it was just off. I didn't care. On site, it was off. So gone to Brixton. Yeah, Brixton was all right. Brixton was all right. I had a few little run-ins with a few people in there, as you do. So, I mean, I won't try and mug anybody off, but you have a few incidents, and I'll tell you why they happen, right? So I get in the jail, and the older lot, yeah, found it really hard to get gear in, yeah. But little old Marv, and look, again, yeah, you got to understand, I'm not saying this to give it a big and or be flash, but you can ask people that was with me, they will tell you, like, I got gear anywhere, everywhere, and everybody knows, rest his soul, my brief now is dead, but my brief used to do a lot of things for me, right? And it was things like this that helped grow the man I am, like, so all my bits and pieces I used to get no matter where I was. Now, I used to have this unique skill. I'll see. Can you do me a favour, please? Could you get me a banana, if you don't mind? Thank you. So I got this skill, yeah, where I can kind of swallow things, hold them in my throat, then regurgitate it back up, right? So I'll show you. Just quickly. And do things like, so basically, I don't know, that might be half ounce of bran, do you know what I mean? Or a couple of bits of puff or whatever, but there's little coups, right? So the coup was, this would be, say, the tackle, right? And then round the tackle will be a string with a little bit of puff attached to it, yeah? So then you'd swallow the puff and then you'd have this in your mouth, right? And then what would happen is this, watch. Gone, right? Gone, right? Well, I showed you a little bit, but it's gone. And there you go, and it comes back up. So I can hold it there and talk, and if the screw don't know ya, then it's just simple. He's giving you a number, and then you walk out, do you know what I mean? So I was able to do this in any jail I went to. And what I realised in the big man jail is everyone loved a bit of bran. All them older lot, yeah? And this is what made me think it was all alright. Because when I got to Big Man Joe, them big arm robbers, yeah, they're all smoking brown. I can honestly say, not all of them. I can honestly say that now. One that does stick out, and why I say that quick is because there was one guy that I met on my sentence. Because I dabbled, I fucked about, right? And this guy, Mickey Cunningham, straight as a die. Nothing. Do you know what I mean? I think he had a little puff about that. That was it. A little bit of puff for me, Marv. A little bit of puff. And that's it, yeah? Ease, sniff, drink, all that, he weren't in it. I think it was just a little bit of puff Mick used to have. And I think he was the only man because all the gangsters used to give it the big un. You know what I mean? But they all used to smoke tackle in the shovel. So all us gangsters want to be gangsters on the out, yeah? Of following people that are actually smackheads. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But you don't know as a kid that all these people you're looking up to are addicted to heroin. You don't know that. Yeah? You don't know that. So this is what I need, yeah, to let these youngsters know that most of these people that you're looking up to, yeah, are dependent on drugs in one way, shape or another. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Some might weigh it down to, on your weed, in public, yeah? In public, yeah? Watch them when they drink, right? So if you know somebody that gets drunk where they fall over all the time, then they're out of control, they're drinking to suppress something. And depending on what level they are, will determine how much they're trying to suppress. It's facts, right? Now, people that know me now know I used to be wild out there. But yeah, wild. But now I have one drink. I'll go out, I'll have one drink, vodka, lime, and ice, if I do go out, and that's what I'll have. And then I'll mooch about. Do you know what I'm saying to you? I need people to get lagging drunk. So the people you're looking up to, remember this, the people you're looking up to are dependent on something, yeah? And that's a weakness, yeah? So try to look up to people that are the fittest versions of them, that are aspiring to be a perfect specimen of a human being. Don't look up to people that are taking drugs, partying, drinking, and just being frivolous with their genitals. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Because I couldn't take a lot of my pals, do you know what I mean, out with their bits and pieces all the time. It's deep. So, bang, we're in Brixton. We're flying about, we're doing bits and pieces. I've had a couple of rows with a couple of people in there. It's kicked off a couple of times. You know, like it's hostile between the screws, right? So the screws are very hostile. And it was back in the 80s, it was very regimented. Like, you couldn't talk in certain places. Like, let's say you can't talk when you're getting your dinner. You can't talk when you're doing this. You can't talk when you're doing that. So everything was very confrontational. And where I was a mouthy kid, yeah, and full of sort of ego, I just talk, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I used to, I wouldn't have it. And I was always getting beaten up and bent up and dragged down the block. And then it got to a stage where they just leave you alone. So I wouldn't have it. And I wouldn't have it. And people that know me knew I was just an headache. I wouldn't have it. So it was just ag. I was ag. It was kicking off regular. If I weren't down the block 2-3 times a week, there was something wrong. So I was a headache, looking up to all the smackheads, looking up to all the armed robbers, looking up to all the blaggers, right? And 98% of them was all smoking Class A's, taking all sorts of substances, right? And that's the reality. So we've got to be nothing but the truth, right? Now, the reason and the purpose behind all this is to show the reality behind crime and the people that commit crime. Even myself, like, I was a scumbag. I'm not ashamed to admit that now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but I've grown, I've learned. And now I try to teach other ways for other outcomes. Yeah. Better beliefs, better belief structures, better belief infrastructures, better conduct and behaviour. Even the way I talk. Like, it's challenging sometimes when I meet certain people, but I'm in control now. And I believe I'm never going back to prison. I'm never going to be violent towards anybody else ever again. And I don't believe I'll ever commit crime. I can't see me jeopardising my liberty or freedom for any amount of money ever again. I can't see it. It's just something I can't see. And it's just something I can't see. So I can't see it. Do you know what I'm saying? So going through 1989. So yeah, I mentioned Mark Grant. Yeah, I mentioned Mark because Mark introduced me to everyone. Now without Mark, I would never have went where I went. Well, I wouldn't say never, but basically Mark was he was a money getter, but not a big money getter, and he was how can I put Mark? He was a lovable rogue. Yeah, he was a lovable rogue that had flaws, right? And I really, really had all the time in the world for Mark. Do you know what I'm saying to you? I really did. I really did. But ultimately, he let himself down. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And yeah, but I had it with him in Brixton. Another geezer called Steve, Paul, a few people, all the armed robbers in with their bits and pieces. One was from Richmond, one was from Leytonstone, Walthamstow, Stratford Ways, you know. And I used to go through all their paperwork, and when you're seeing all the money, yeah, I'm talking to them and I'm pumping them for info, and they're like, yeah. And now one of the geezers that was in there, he spoke very highly, who became a real good friend of mine, Lenny Sanderford. And this geezer was talking about this Lenny fella like he was something special. And then his pal mentioned that another one of his friends who became a very, and still is a very close friend of mine, Linville Williams. And so he mentioned these two guys. And the reason why I mentioned these two guys because they was sort of significant in a lot of the morals and principles that got instilled into me. Now, although we've all done bad things and everyone's got an history, right? So I don't care about what people have done out there and what they've got up to or where they're at. But it's what I've taken, little pieces from everybody along the way, and now I've become Marvin Herbert. Yeah, full of wisdom and full of knowledge. So I've nicked loads of little bits from loads of different people, albeit I believe they're the best bits. So I'm into Mark now. Mark. He knew all the, because he's like older than me. He was, I don't know, he must be 55, 56 now, possibly 57. So when I was 90, he would have been 23, 24, 25, 26, whatever. But he was old a lot, he was earning money, he was big, he had a watch, all the bikes, right? So I don't know how we changed numbers, but I said, when I get out, we're going to link up. Everyone links up when they get out. So bam, Mark gets out, met Mark. Where was he from? He was from over East London. But I started seeing him. We used to go to the Bridge Bar and all that. And basically, I'm saying, look, I need to meet the armed robbers. And I want all them armed robber people, you know, them armed robber people. I want to meet them. He's going, relax, man. You'll meet them. Just wait for wait for a do. And when there's a do, they'll all be out. And we'll go down. I'll introduce you properly. So it don't make sense like trying to look for people because it make you look petty, mate. Just relax. We'll turn up on the right night. And then fast forward a few months, I can't remember, but he's rung me up. He said, do you want to meet the boys tonight? I said, yeah, come on. What's happening? Where are we going? So he said, Stringfellas. Now, for those who don't know, Stringfellas was a lady, like a dancing, a lady bar, like where lap dancing first started kind of thing. But it weren't, I'm not sure what it was in there, but it was all ladies topless or ladies like sexy gear and all that sort of carry on, right? I'm not quite sure if it was lap dancing, but it was all sexy women, all that sort of stuff. And people that know Stringfellas, right? So it was a black and white dude. Yeah, so I've turned up with Mark, and as we've gone down the stairs, and this is leading to a couple of stories, right? Because this is what I'm talking about with ego, right? Belief. Do you understand? So I've turned up, and I've been around some parties and some spielers and some bits, but I've never been around at this stage a room like this. Now this room was just made up, yeah, of white people and black people, yeah, kitted in the best clobber that you can imagine, and I'm head to toe, like in not, you can't even. It's hard to put it this way. back then people used to wear 5, 10 grand suits. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're out with their tuxes, they're out with their Rolexes there. And they had this money back then. It was like they was actually nicking vans, they was doing stuff like they looked the part. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is how sick it was, right? They had it that sick in there, yeah. And I'm not condoning this, right? But this is how they had it because it leads into another story that's quite funny, yeah. So I've turned up wearing Stringfellas. Now everybody knows what Stringfellas is like. Anti-drugs, anti-black, anti-gang, anti-everything, right? So I've turned up there now and it's pure gang, pure black, pure drugs, pure gold, pure everything. I've come down the stairs and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know it was like this in this gaff. Do you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, I'm getting introduced to all these people, and I'm getting introduced to these, and then we're all partying, buzzing. And I'm looking at these lot, and I'm thinking, wow, these lot must be nicking it. They must be nicking it. So we start talking, having a laugh, having a giggle, and then I think it was Lenny. We started chatting. He said, yeah, you just come out, what are you going to do for a few quid, blah, blah, blah. I said, same as everyone, brother. You know how it is. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I can't remember how the conversations went, but it was just like, look, you need to come and spend a bit of time around us. Just come over here, come here. So I had an office over Mortimer's, on top of Mortimer's in Greyhound Lane, not Greyhound Lane, in George's Lane over Woodford. So they had this office above the pub. And they basically said, this is yours, mate. My space is your space, my home is your home. He said, if you ever come here and ask for anything, you're not welcome. I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, if you come in here and ask me for anything, you may as well fuck off. Because we're family in the building. You're either in the building or you're not in the building. So I was like, all right, sweet. And it was just something that I'd never experienced because prior to that, everybody always wanted something for me. This little firm never wanted nothing for me and they always wanted to give me. And it weren't like I was doing anything for them. I never, ever, ever, and I'm telling you now, I never made a penny with any of them. Like, I never made any money, like selling drugs, doing bits. Like, the only person that educated me was Lenny. Yeah. Lenny educated me on a bit of graft once. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But he opened the door for me to a different platform. And that was when it all started. So, basically, I'm popping up and down to Woodford, speaking, getting to know everyone. I'm blending in like you couldn't imagine. And then he's pulled me aside one day. He said, you ready to go and work? I was like, yeah, I think so. He said, all right, sweet. He said, get me a car and a tool and you're ready. So I said, yeah? He's like, yeah. I went, all right, sweet, not a problem. Now, I lived in Camden, yeah? Now, I don't know whether he thought I was a joker or not, but I think that was on the Tuesday, and then I rung him up on the Thursday morning about 8, 9 o'clock. I said, I've got that, what you needed, you know. He's like, yeah? I was like, yeah. He said, all right, make your way over about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. I was like, I thought we were going to work. In my head, I thought we were going to work, mate. Anyway, I said, yeah, sweet, whatever, mate, lovely. So then, 8:30, I can't make my way over there. Anyway, gets over there, picks him up. And then he went, we're going somewhere, went somewhere. 9 o'clock. I'm like, is everything all right, mate? He said, yeah, relax, man, we're cool. He said, we're going to go and get changed in a minute. I just want to do a couple of things. I was like, what is this geezer on about? Like, what's he on about? Anyway, cracked on doing what we're doing. Anyway, went away, put some bits and pieces on, come out. Then he just went to me, yeah, I'll wait here a minute. I was like, yeah, all right, sweet, mate. So I'm sitting in the car. It's like pitch black, about 10, 11 o'clock. And I thought, do you know what? I wonder what he's up to. So then I just sort of got out of the car and I've walked down a road. I've looked through and I've seen him like behind the bushes. I thought, what the fuck's he playing at? Anyway, cutting a long story short, I see a van pull up. Guy's gone in. Anyway, cut a long story short, he copped through the box, gone over, grabbed the box, come back to the car. He's like, go. So I've got to wait. Cutting a very long story short, we had about, I can't remember how much in total there was. And I'll be lying, but I got a carrier bag full of £20 notes. And I remember I went out the next day, and I've gone home, emptied the readies on my Bird, said, right, we're going shopping in the morning. And then I went out and I bought all the, because the missus was pregnant at that stage, and I went out and I bought all the clobber you could ever think about buying for a young boy, yeah, up until the age of about 3 or 4. Like everything you could ever imagine a young boy would have. I kitted out his bedroom, kitted out the front room. Did I buy a car? I can't even remember if I bought a car. I can't remember what I used to drive back then. I'll be lying, because they might have all been ringers. We had so many, we had cars like you couldn't imagine, so cars weren't a problem. So we had all the cars, we've got the house, the flat, kitted the house out sick like you couldn't imagine. And life was decent, man. Life was good. It was nice. I just got out. Do you know what I mean? I was got a bit of readies. Life's good. Had a few turnouts with me pals. Ended up in... had a few nights out. Yeah. So, one of my pals rings me up one night. He says, what are you doing tonight? I said, not really, not much, mate. He said, we're staying over the Sheraton Park Tower for the weekend if you fancy coming over. We got a little do going on in Knightsbridge. So I was like, yeah, sweet, not a problem. Right, yeah, lovely. What are you doing in the daytime? He said, we're over Hyde Park. Someone and their kids and da-da. So I was like, what? Yeah. So anyway, went over Hyde Park this weekend. Had a little shindig in the restaurant, having a laugh and a giggle, as you do, giving it a big one. And then basically, who was it? I think it was Mark. Mark's come and said that Lenny and them lot want to see me. They're all going out, blah, blah, blah. So I've gone over there. So yeah, we're going out. So where are we going? I said, down the ministry. So I was like, yeah, all right, sweet. So I've never been there before, and it was a special night. I can't remember. Someone might have got out. What was it? Big lump. Shit. See, that's the problem with my memory. One of their pals got out. I think he was just doing a 10 or a 15, and he just got out, and they was all out. So we've all had to go, and I've turned up, and it's the first time I've gone to the ministry. So I've turned up, gone in. No, I've turned up. Limball's come out, introduced me to the famous Colton, and he's coming up shortly as well. So, yeah, so he's introduced me to Colton, a few people on the door, had a word, and then basically we've gone in. So now we've gone in, been introduced a few people in there, big up Jeff, yeah, sick up, and then, yeah, got introduced to a few people, started raving, partying. Anyway, cutting a very long story short, a very tight bond was created between a small circle of people around them times that I really still feel connected to. You know, I ain't seen something for a few years, but I feel we had a real decent relationship. And basically, so it was backwards and forwards to the ministry, doing what you do. So we're out robbing, we're being in, giving it the big one. Like, every day is a drama, right? And that's what you got to understand. Every day is a drama, right? Every day is a drama. Every day is a drama, right? Every day is a drama, right? So now we're out, up and down to the ministry, backwards and forwards, robbing, stealing, doing what you do. But yeah, so one of their pals have come out, we've all gone down, and everything's nice. So now the ministry is like a second home, right? Now you got to understand a few things, right? The ministry is like a second home to me. All the security was pals, me and Carl, and everybody were pals. So I want to tell you a story, but don't think for a minute anyone hates each other or anybody wants to shoot and kill each other, because it ain't that kind of party. Everyone's grown up, everyone's matured, everyone's moved on, right? So basically, backwards and forwards. Anyway, round about the ministry times, I'm backwards and forwards. Now, people that know me know, right? I used to get out of me nut. I used to take way too many pills, right? because in my head, you had to be hard to take as many pills as I took. As bad as it seems, right? If someone took pills, I had to take more. It didn't matter how many, I just took more because I had to be harder than them. I was a fucking idiot. But it happened. Anyway, so I'm now having a party. And people know me, I'm not lying. I used to love to party. I was a happy party person. I don't think I was an aggressive party person unless you upset me, and then I became very angry. But I was a happy go, we give everyone buzzy. But come any conflict, there was a problem. So buzzing, goes into the toilet. I'm in the toilet, having a pee. Geezer's come up behind me. He's gone, we've got the time, mate. So I'm not paranoid or scared. I'm having a lag like that. I've gone, yeah, mate, have a look at that. With that, he's pulled my arm, and I felt him scratching my arm, like trying to take my finger off, yeah? So I thought, right, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? I put my finger away, and as I've got the blade in my side, I said, what are you doing, mate? I've flicked it. I've gone, what are you doing? I've grabbed him by his hand and sort of plunged him a couple of times. And I can't remember if I cut him or not, but I plunged him a couple of times, I wet him a couple of times, and then basically his mate's come running over, because his mate was a couple of steps beside him, and he's come running round, not realising I'd stabbed his mate, and he's thrown a punch, and I've stabbed his hand and then stabbed him, and then basically we've come outside, and then as I've come out, I've gone up to one of the bouncers, I've gone, yeah, take that. He's started trying to grab me up. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I got told I stabbed this guy. I've rung him up previous or after, and I said, have you got a scar on your stomach? And he said, yeah, I'll burn it. So I don't know whether there's any truth in that or not, but apparently I stabbed Bernard in the belly that night. And then I've gone onto the dance floor, went to give Stu the April, because he reminded me that kindly, yeah. He's gone, fuck that, dashed the tool because it was covered in blood. I took a t-shirt off someone else and changed my t-shirt. 10 minutes later, someone's come in and called me out. I said, what's the matter? I said, Colton wants you. So I thought, oh, fuck, it's going to be a headache over what's happened in the toilet. So I've walked down, not thinking there's a problem. As I've opened the door, bang, he's hit me. Boom, boom, crash. He's hit me right there, right down the middle there, right? And I've gone back, I see a white flash. You know when you get a white flash here? And I've gone bang, like that. I've looked in his hand, and I just see the wood handle and then the metal bit. And I was like, what the fuck's that? Did you just hit me with that? And he's hit me with it again. As he's hit me with it again, I've just kicked off. So he's kicking off. He was with a couple of other people. I didn't realise. Dave, yeah. I didn't know you were there, Dave, yeah. But it's all good, yeah. Now I know why you were so nice to me in Spain, Dave, if you're watching these, son. Yeah, but reach out to me, Dave. I'd love to speak to you. Herbert.Marvin. Anyway, so it's kicked off to the point where I'm flying. So, and I had superhuman strength. It's the only way to explain it. But we were fighting for, I've been chopped a couple of times with this axe. My head is wide open, like wide open. And we're fighting to the point where everyone's getting tired apart from me. Right, so it's kicking off. People saying, wait, calm down, fucking calm down. Ah, it's kicking off. And then they bear hugged me, threw me out the back door, told me if I come back down, I'm going to be dead, yeah. So I started booting the door and then realised, you know what, I'm going to get people nicked. Geezers took me home. I said, wait there, went to me lock up, went to get me bits and pieces, come back out, he had gone. So I've gone back indoors, gone upstairs, put the aprons away, gone back upstairs, sat on the bed, started rolling me little bit, my little joint. I said, babe, what's the matter? Oh, I don't know what, I've got my head bust open tonight, you know, I need to go to hospital, you need to get up. She's like, what are you doing? You fucking about? I was like, no, seriously, have a look. Like, obviously, I didn't realise, like, it don't look nothing now, I never realised how bad it was, but my head was literally open from there to there, and then from about there to there, like, it was just open, like, she said all you could see was skull, right? Anyway, so she woke up, gone hysterical. I've got in the bath, washed off most of the blood, changed my clothes, rolled a joint, gone up the hospital. So then we were in the hospital, goes in the hospital, get stitched up. I had these mad thick blue stitches. So I come out of the hospital, rung Carl. Not Colton. Who did I ring? Because I never had Colton's number. I didn't know him personally then. So I've rung Lenny, mate. What a fucking libby. He's gone, what's the matter? I said, what do you mean, what's the matter? Well, you ain't heard. He said, what do you mean? I said, your pals chopped me up last night, you know. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, your fucking pals chopped me up last night. What do you mean, what am I talking about? You fucking libby. I said, where are you? He said, I'm Woodford. I said, I'm coming. So I've rung up Junior. I said, Junior, where's Bessie? Bessie was a pump action. I said, bring Bessie for me, please. So Bessie's come over and I've a couple of tools. So basically, I've gone running in the gaff. As I've run in there, Lenny's gone to me, why the fuck did you put it on John? So I was like, what? He said, why'd you put it on John? I said, what do you mean, John? What are you talking about? Now, apparently, John was the manager of the ministry at the time, and I was supposed to have robbed him or wanted to rob him. And the security found out about it, and they beat me up. That's what I was led to believe. That's what I got told. So I've gone nuts. Anyway, things went pear-shaped for a little while. My head was gone. So I thought all my mates was against me because my mates' pals have chopped me. So how can I trust any of this lot? How can I trust any of them lot? So I'm saying, so I started pulling away from people and then trying to find people. So I was looking for people, trying to find them, slipping so I could cop for them, and I could never find no one. And then basically, that went on for about 3 months. 3 months. And then my pal come, Tim. He said, look, your head's going, mate. Come on, let's get away for a little while. Sort your head out. I was like, what do you mean? He said, Marv, your head's gone, mate. You're going to get yourself nicked. He said, come, let's go away. He said, I've got to be ready. Let's go away for a little while. So anyway, we went away around all the Greek islands for a few weeks. Mate, I think it's got to be the worst thing I ever done in my life. I'm not even joking. I won't even get into it, but this will all be in my book and in the long-winded movie, right? But yeah, so I goes away for a couple of weeks. Ends up coming home, yeah. Like, you got to understand, the amount of stress I was under was next level. Right? I was being chopped, everything's been happening. So my pals took me away, yeah. And then basically, when I come home, the missus decides to leave me, like, and absolutely takes everything out of my flat, like, nothing. Like, I walked into, I'll tell you this story. I've got to tell you this story, right, because it's quite funny. So me and my pal Tim, we're flying around all the Greek islands. So we started off in Corfu for a 2-3 week holiday. I don't know why, but we just said, oh, I don't know what. Oh, that was it. Me mum. That was it. My mum lived in Crete. So Tim said, oh yeah, let's go to Greece. So I said, yeah, come on then. So we got a flight to Corfu. When we got to Corfu, Crete is the furthest island away from Corfu. Yeah. So now we've got to go from Corfu to Crete, which took 3 days, yeah? So now we've travelled there 3 days, we got there, not a problem, right? So we're having a lad's holiday, taking libbies. My mum was there. It kicks off there as well, didn't it? Kicks off with well, that's twice it's kicked off there then, yeah. So it kicks off with a load of Greek fellas when I was there, and I got opened up there as well. No, it weren't Greek fellas. No, that was the time before. That was Pat, yeah. No, so this time it was the Greek fellas. Yeah, so I kicked off with a load of Greek fellas, and I think I got stabbed in my back. But yeah, so anyway. Yeah, that was with Tim, wasn't it? Yeah, Tim. So now me and Tim are travelling around all the islands having a laugh and a giggle, right? And we gets to Crete, which is 3 days away from Corfu, right? So basically, when we're in Corfu, we're having a time of our life, having a laugh, we're doing what we're doing, we're partying, drinking, doing what we're doing. Anyway, it was about 3 days, or maybe 4 days, and I went, do you know what, Tim? we got to get back to Corfu. How much money you got? Because Tim was the money man, right? Tim was the one who was always shrewd with money, right? So how much money you got, Tim? Next thing you know, we ain't got enough money to get back, right? And we got to get back in 3 days, otherwise we're going to miss our flight back to England, right? So I was like, rah, we better go. So packed our gear, right? And now we roughed it. We bunked on trains. Like, it was a 3-day train, ferry, coach, train, ferry, coach. That was long, trust me, yeah. Ferry, coach, train, ferry, coach. Like, there's loads of islands, trust me. Go and have a look at all the islands in Greece, yeah. And we had to go through all the islands, yeah. Anyway, cut a long story short. Gets back to Corfu and we're starving hungry. Right, so we made it back to Corfu, we're starving hungry, we get on the plane and we've been living on chocolate croissants, yeah. Chocolate croissants, me and Tim, for 2 days. So we get on the plane and we're eating whatever you can get off the plane, right? Starving, get off the plane, get in a cab. Tim the man, Tim always had stash, mate. So, you know, Tim had a little Reddy's parked at home. So I was like, yeah, get a cab straight back. Yeah, I'll drop you off at home and carry on. I was like, ah, nice one, Tim, wicked. Anyway, gets home, run up the stairs, put the key in the door, open the door, and you know when you just hollow? It was like, pop, 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 pop. And I thought, why don't that smell like home? Do you know what I mean? When you open your front door, you get that waft of smell. There weren't no smell. And then there weren't no lights on. And I was like, right. And I walked in, and I've opened the front room door. Like, there was just nothing in there. Nothing, mate. Nothing. Gone in the kitchen, nothing. Gone in the bedroom, nothing. Nothing. Not even a plate. So I was fuming. Anyway, kind of very long story short, I ended up at my auntie's house doing all sorts of crazy shit because I couldn't get my gear back. I couldn't stay in an empty flat. So now I've got no home. I've got no money. My bird's pregnant, just about to drop. I don't know where she is. I don't know what she's up to. So in my head, the only solution to this is money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, how can we get some money? Anyway, cut a very long story short, I ends up robbing a security van. So there's a security van on Finchley Road. Me and an accomplice robbed the security van. Basically, got away with the money. Now, one of the accomplices left with the money, and then basically I got nicked in an apartment where one of my mates was staying with my auntie who had learning difficulties, yeah, because of a bit of a brain damage he had. But basically, I've gone back to my auntie's house, gone through the door. The person who was staying at my auntie's house with the brain damage, I've given him a load of money wrappers and said, put them in the bin. He's put them in the bin. I've gone in, give the money to my pal, he's fucked off. So he's fucked off. Anyway, so about 2 hours later, I'm in the house. All of a sudden, I could hear like a helicopter, right? And I thought, what the fuck's that? And I've looked outside, and there's an helicopter right out, like not right outside my window, but it's right outside the block, yeah? So I've looked out the window, and then all round the blocks, all cordoned off with Arndale Bill, and I thought, rah. So I've gone out onto the landing. I've gone over to the other side of the block, and there's all windows. So I looked out the window, and you can see all the old bill all round the block, and I thought, rah. So then I've gone back in the flat. I said to the geezer that was there, I said, oh mate, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm just going to go and kip. So I just got down by the window and just went a kip, or just closed my eyes and just chilled out, relaxed. Next thing I heard, boom, 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 boom on the door. Marvin, Herbert, Timmy, blah, blah, blah. Come out with your hands up. I was like, damn. And then that was it. Come out, dragged out. Come out, And it was all in the hallway, all the bright lights. I've opened the door, I've got to put my hands down, lay down. So you lay down. Anyway, we're nicked. So on the way back, where did I go? I went Golders Green. I went to Golders Green. I think Tim went to Finchley or something like that, I'm not sure. Or Collindale. We got split up. Then basically, I can't remember what happened, but I remember Tim got 18 months for handling the money wrappers because he weren't actually on the armed robbery. He was in the house that I come back to and handled the money wrappers. And the person I'd done the robbery with fucked off with the money. So the police never found the money. And then basically we went away. I got 5 years, Tim got 18 months. So now, put it on pause before, because I've got to make this clear, right? Because it's just come to me. So everything is about changing the narrative. So me and my best mate on the road, and people that know me and Tim knows how close we were growing up. We're still close now, and we was on two different paths for decades, but now we're on the same path. We're going to start seeing a lot more of each other this year. And if you do watch this, Tim, sorry I ain't been in touch, but I've been in touch, but I ain't seen you. You know how it is. I've been mad busy with life. Anyway, so basically we get nicked, and we're in Scrubs, and it was like the mindset. I was just like, have you ever been here before, Tim? He was like, no. I was like, right, fuck it. Anyone says anything, man, just do them, mate. Yeah. No, just attack. That's it. And he was like, relax, it'll be all right, man. I said, nah, listen, Tim, come on, boom. Anyway, we was just on attack mode, right? It was on attack mode. So, turns up there. First night, I told this story the other week as well. First night turns up, goes in. The first day we turns up. So you turn up. It must have been the night. See, I might have had that wrong because you must have turned up after court. So I must have gone, yeah. So it was in the night time, it weren't daytime. The geezer must have slept and got up and spoke to the screws. So I told a story the other day. So I banged up with geezer and I had a conversation with him in the night time. And I said to him, my pal's going to want to move here in the morning. And he was like, listen, mate, this is my show, and no one's moving in here. I ain't moving out, and if you want to move in your pal, you got to move out, mate. I just thought, all right, yeah, sweet, not a problem. And then it was the next day I've gone into Tim's cell. I said, yeah, I'm moving here, mate. And then his cell was not good. And people that know the cells back in the day when you had piss pots and all that, yeah, like, it wasn't a good look. So I didn't want to stay in Tim's cell. I wanted the other cell. Do you know what I mean? So then basically, when we banged up over lunch, that's when I said to the fella, look, I ain't being funny, mate. Yeah? But if you ain't out of this cell this afternoon, when you go to sleep tonight, I'm going to cave your fucking head in with these PP9s, mate. Yeah, and then when they've opened up for lunch, I've just walked out the cell, gone about my business, told Tim what I'd done. He was just like laughing. Anyway, boom. Screws called me in the office, don't do all that stuff here, this is man's prison, you can't get away with this, can't, alright, gov, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Watch yourself here, Herbert, this ain't YC's, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, alright, gov, lovely. Gone out, cut a long story, I can't remember what happened, but me and Tim got put right down the other end. I thought I might even 6 or something like that, we got put in, number 6. Jeff and Junior was in the bottom, rest his soul, Junior. Johnny was next to him. There was a couple of brothers. Old John Major, big up John Major. I can't remember your real name, but yeah, John Major was in there. It was like the jail was just full of armed robbers. Do you know what I mean? There was Gary. Stuart, like there was some real serious members in there, and for some serious people got away on buses, like, yeah. They were sick. So basically, we gets in scrubs, come back, put us down the end, and now we're down the end, and there's all villains all around us, right? Now, this is the dragon's den. This is the pit. This is the lion's den. This is it. This is where they all are. These are all the major players. Like, there's people in there for bits of work. The Kalashnikovs, fucking machine guns. Like, it was just like something out of a movie. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, and if I'm being honest, yeah, and I've got to be honest, yeah, I was buzzing that I was around all these people because in my head, I was going to make millions and I'm going to switch off soon. I'm going to learn how these lot have done it because once I take a van away, once I empty it, I'm finished. And that was all I've ever thought about. And then basically, Scrubs. We walked into Scrubs, A-Wing, down the twos. So I think we was on the threes. Then we used to go down to the twos for the shower with the steam. So you put one of the, there's the triads in there that blew up the, they burnt down one of the arcades. They killed someone and burnt the arcade down in the West End, and they all got nicked. And they was all on the wing, little Chai and Ty. But it was like little martial artists. You know what I'm saying to you about, they done something to the thing in the shower that if you turned it, steam would come out, so you could have a sauna. So we all used to go in the sauna, smoke puff, sniff, pipe, fucking bit of heroin. Like, there weren't nothing we didn't do in there. It was just madness. Drink, ooch, a little bit of vodka now and then. You know, like, it was just ease. It was just madness. Do you know what I mean? It was just chaotic. I was a bit of a bully back then, so I stuck it on people. Like, and the other is, it wasn't like I was just dominating. So basically, I used to demand. What did I used to do? I used to demand work off people as well. I used to demand. I say, listen, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to give me some of your gear, or I'm going to take it all. It's up to you. So it was, people had a choice. Do you know what I mean? I can either take it all, or we'll have a bust up. But I ain't going without, mate. And that was the kind of mindset I had. It was weird. Like, and I'd put it on people. Like, people know I'm not bigging it up, giving it the big, and people will tell you. And I was going to say, I said, look, I ain't being funny, mate. It's as simple as this. I ain't going without, and whatever you've got, I need some. Whatever I get, you'll get some. It's up to you. What are we doing? I go, well, what do you need? I said, I just need a bit of gear. I need a bit of something to get some readies, get some bits, get some bobs. I've got fuck all till my visit comes. And 9 times out, I think they only went pear-shaped on me once. And then it come golden straight after that anyway. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But I've always blended that way, and I've always done it that way, and I've always survived that way. So when I've turned up in the Scrubs, it was just like wild, like chaos. And then basically, there was a couple of Mikey, big up Mikey, turned his whole life around years ago, back in the day. I won't expose people's second names, but yeah. Mikey, 2 Mikeys, yeah, wow, yeah. Right, big, tall, and not small, but tall and shorter Mikeys, yeah, wicked. Yeah, one from Stonebridge, and one from Wilsden, I believe. Or no, I think it might have been both been from Stonebridge. Deep. Anyway, yeah, they must have both been from there because they both knew my dad. Because that was got me in the Scrubs. When I got in the Scrubs, we're walking along the landing and a couple of these big old lumps in there. Like, they was a lot older than me. I think they might have been 6, 7 years older than me, maybe 8 years older than me. Like, yo, Barry, your dad? I was like, yeah. Why? He was like, no, I know your dad, man. Your dad, all right. Your dad, all right. And then boom, it was like, you have everything. And I was like, yeah, cool. What's going on? I was like, and then they basically, they sort of clued me up to who does what and what does what on the wing, and how we can do bits and pieces, how we can get bits and pieces. And then I just fell into the role of things, man. Just caught my own parcels, got my own bits, done my own bobs. So, and just had it with the screws. Because people that know the 90s, yeah, it weren't no joke with the screws. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, the screws didn't mess about, mate. The screws didn't mess about. We was in Scrubs, 10 or Brixton. Like, they didn't mess about, mate. They didn't mess about, and you had to have it. And you had to have it, or they took liberties with you. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So, unless you actually nutted and bit and done shit, then they just pick on you and bend you and do shit. But I always found if you damage them bad enough, they leave you alone. And rather than have a real bad reputation, than have them just keep digging you out. Do you know what I mean? So I always made sure my reputation was rememberable. Do you know what I mean? So the screws remember me and they knew. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's another thing about people like me, yeah? You got to be prepared for the block. You got to be prepared for extra sentences. You got to be prepared for your bird leaving you. You got to be prepared for all this stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't expect it not to happen. You can't expect to save your bird or keep your bird. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, it's crazy. So we're in scrubs. Flying through scrubs. Having it with all the screws. Like you couldn't imagine. And there was a few faces in there from back in the day. Gary, Roger, they was in the block with me. We got put on B-wing together. There was about 7 of us that got split up from the whole prison. And we got put on one wing. There was about 7 or 8 of us, I think, put on a punishment wing. It was when they first started the basic standard and enhanced regimes they brought in beginning in the 90s. They started implementing them with all the volatile, high-risk, subversive inmates. I mean, I was one of them. So we're on just causing mayhem, havoc, kicking off every day, driving the screws mad. Sorry. Driving the screws mad, just bending and breaking the rules. You know, like jeopardising your freedom. And that's what I was saying yesterday, right? So now, to be classed as sensible, not only you, right, not only your people, not only your barristers, your legal teams, your doctors, whoever you've got bringing gear in, right, is risking their liberty for you. So the trauma that you create, right, down to asking people to do this stupid shit for you, right, is madness. Lives, like I've ruined lives. Like I believe that introducing my brief to that shortcut of Reddy's led to a early death because I think he died of an heart attack. No, we can talk about prison all day long. Talk about guns. Talk about violence. Talk about shootings. Talk about prison, right? But I talk about the consequences, the ripple effects, the people that get affected, the people that get ruined, the people's lives we absolutely destroy. Now, in the scrubs, right? Now, they shut it down one day. Here's another story that's going to be in the movie as well, because I don't know how my mum done this, and I really don't know how this happened, right? So, they found a gun in the prison. On one of the yards outside, or they found a piece of a gun or something to do with a gun, right? So anyone who was in the scrubs 1993 will remember this and they'll tell you I'm not talking shit. So they've shut the whole jail down, locked the whole jail down, cancelled all the visits, cancelled everything, right? So it's all cancelled. And I'm not lying, I promise you, right? Boom. 1:45, my door opens, right? Herbert, you got a visit. Yeah, all right, Gov. No, I'm being serious, Herbert. You got a visit. I said, Gov, do me a favour. If you're coming in, yeah, come in. I ain't coming on a landing for a kicking. You're mad, mate. Because in the cell, you had a better chance of not getting done properly. Do you know what I mean? Because once they've bent you up, and the PO and the governor's there, they can't really hurt you. Do you know what I mean? But until the PO and the governor gets there, they all get stuck in. But by the time you're restrained and there's a PO and a governor there, they can't really hurt you that bad, right? So I'm like, I ain't coming out of the cell, Gov. You're mad, mate. He said, do you want this visit or not, Herbert? I said, what, are you being serious? I got a visit. He said, Herbert, I don't know who or what palms you're greasing. He said, but you got a fucking visit, son. I'm telling you, I'm not even joking. So I was like, wow, all right, sweet. So I come out of the cell expecting to get rushed. There's no one on the landing. Gone down the stairs. As he's opened the wooden door, I was expecting to get rushed. No one there. As he's opened the gate, I was expecting to get rushed. No one there. As he opened the visit gate and door when you walk in, I was expected to get rushed, dragged into it, like, because they just do fucked up shit. They tell you go in gym, open you up, let you out, and then bend you up, and you end up in another prison like fucking 200-300 miles away. Do you know what I mean? And it happened. So I'm expecting just to get swagged. All of a sudden, I walked onto the visiting hall. It's got loads of screws on the visiting hall, and my mum and auntie are standing there. And my mum was like, all right, lad. And my mum was sweet and that. She had a little bit. Mum had a bit of puff in her mouth and all that. Do you know what I'm saying? She's like, all right, son, you on this thing here? All right. And I was like, yeah, sweet. She's like, how you doing? I was like, yeah, sweet, lovely. Cop for me a bit of thing. My auntie's give me another little bit of thing. I was like, oh, nice one. How'd you lot get in here? She said, we turned up and we just refused to leave. We just told them to come all the way up from Liverpool. And we just told the governor we're not leaving. And they let us in. And I was like, wow, sick. So then basically, I've gone back to the cells like a proper chap, all loaded up. No one on our landing had any gear. I've got it in there. How'd you call that? But, you don't, you just play it up. Don't worry about how I got that music, son. Don't worry about how I got that music. Strings, son, strings, yeah. But that's how it happened. I don't know how she done it, but she done it. Anyway, so we're in the scrubs and we're going up for sentencing. The point I wanted to make, while I've gone on about the scrubs and all these gangsters and all this little fun and all these games and all these drugs and all this shit, right? Tim come up to me one day and he went, he said, fuck doing this anymore. I was like, what are you on about? He's like, I ain't coming back here. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, Marv, let me explain something to you, mate. I ain't coming back here. If you think I'm coming back here to look like that cunt, or that cunt, you're mistaken, mate. Because I ain't no cunt. I was like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Giving up? He was like, Marv, I'm telling you now, I ain't coming back here, mate. I'm telling you that much now. I ain't coming back here. So I was like, wow. And I'm telling you now, in my head, I started thinking he's suicidal. I was like, you all right, mate? You all right, mate? He's like, yeah, I'm sleeping. I ain't coming back here, like that, mate. And then the last couple of days, he starts talking about getting a job and going straight. And like, and he'll tell you, I'm not even lying, Tim. You know that, didn't you, mate? It got to the point where it just kicked off. I was like, I had the hump. That my pal was going straight. I had the hump that he didn't want to do that more. I was like, you fucking liberty. Do you know what I mean? Like, how have I put my hands up and then you're going to go straight? I thought, who's going to look after me, you cunt? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Like, blah, 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 blah. And we fell out. I'm gutted to say we actually fell out over that for a couple of years. I don't know. Yeah, we fell out over a couple of years. I think the last end of the last bit of his bird, we never spoke from memory. And then basically, we kindled that when I got out, obviously. But yeah, I was wounded initially. I was fucking wounded. My partner, my right hand, like everything in my world, he was as a villain goes. He was like my right hand. And I was wounded. And then I've done my bit of bird. And then basically, where did I end up out of that? Yeah, because I basically tell you a couple of prison stories. So after the scrubs, I went 1-0. I've got to tell you 1-0. I'll tell the 1-0 story another time. But the 1-0 story with Officer Coyne. Oh, that was one. Yeah. So yeah, we ended up in the High Point. So they sent me to High Point, first 5. I went to High Point. So we landed in High Point. And I'll never forget High Point. So it turns up in High Point. Flashes you like, right? So there's all the villains in there. Feel the South London lot. So I've turned up. All the South Londoners lot playing cards. They have got a little set up like fucking Goodfellas, you know, like a proper gangster turn out, yeah? So I've turned up. I've got no puff. Something's happened. I've got nothing on me. I might have been swagged. I don't know what's happened, but I've got no puff on me, right? I want to find out who's got any puff. Who's got any puff? So I found this big lump's got a bit of puff. So I've gone and seen him. I said, you got any puff, mate? Yeah, I said, do you mind if I grab a bit of puff until I get some? He said, no, mate. No money, no honey. Or something like that. Something right sarcastic. I was like, have you been like that for? So I'll get it back, I'll give it back to you. I'll give you double back, mate. What's the matter with you? He's like, I ain't got it, mate. So I've just tried to fish with a couple of people to get a bit of gear. Right? Only a bit of puff, didn't want nothing more, a few joints. I was only going to, I'll get a visit. Like you can get the a reception VO when you get sentenced, right? You get a reception VO when you get to jail. So by the weekend, you can have a visit, right? So I knew my visit was coming a weekend because every 2 weeks and my people were good, right? So basically, no one to give me nothing. Bomb. Anyway, no everyone blame me. My visits come. Nah. At the time, I'd give my pals my bit of money that I got nicked with. Yeah. And they were flipping it with a bit of B and a bit of other bits and pieces, I believe they were doing. I don't remember what they were doing, but basically I was getting whatever I wanted. So if I wanted B, white, bomb, I just got whatever I wanted brought up on visit. So I was Keiko, crack, ease, heroin, puff. And this is where I got my first habit. Gary Wilson reminded me, yeah. So basically what's happening, I'm in the jail and I didn't know nothing about habits, right? I didn't know nothing about habits. I didn't know how addictions worked and that, right? So anyway, I'm in High Point and I'm up there giving it gangster. Big up Terry, Glenn. These are people that I learnt from on the way that I mentioned. So I might mention some people's names that pop into my head. Rest in peace, Andrew. Do you know what I mean? Little Andy, he's dead now. People know him from High Point. Anyway, so gets to High Point, tries to get a bit of graft. No one will give me a bit of graft. I get my parcels in. So now I'm getting lumps. I'm maybe getting half O's of brown, quarter of white, maybe 3-4 ounces of puff, things like that. So basically I come back and visit, I'm nice. So now I start serving up a bit of B, starts doing what I'm doing, putting me bits and pieces out. But what I decided to do, which was like a bit of a pain in the arse for everyone, but a strategic move by myself. So I think I had half ounce, so 14 grams chopped into 6. Yeah, because you chop it into either. No, yeah, it was 8. Yeah, so you chopped it into 8 and sold each part as a quarter gram. That was the coup we used to do. So I used to give people like quarter grams. So they might get 5 or 6 joeys out of what they get, which is basically a quarter gram. So I can't remember the actual numbers and all the figures, but I was giving them like a quarter of a gram rather than 1 joey for a tenner. They could get maybe 8 joeys for 50 or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but I outsold everybody and they couldn't get rid of any gear. And then they started moaning and then it kicked off. And then there was a riot. Do you know what I mean? There was a riot. There was a little mini riot with what was his name? Ian Quinn. And he ended up to be a bit of a naughty member apparently. I can't remember how naughty he was, but there was a bit of a bad stink about him. And basically what it was, he was holding on to something and then he said he'd been robbed by a geezer with trainers on. So he had these specific trainers on. So now we're going in all the cells looking for these trainers, just agging people up. And then basically all the fellas off, I can't remember what spur it was, but there was like loads of them, 10, 15 of them. Because in High Point South, there was a metal workshop. So you could have big blades, and there was naughty blades that used to be made in there. It was sick blades, right? So everybody had mad blades in there. So it was a thing where me, Gary, Steve Mahoney, not me cousin Steve Mahoney, rest in peace, but Steve Mahoney, Gary Wilson, and me. And I say this because this firm have come out, right? And I didn't know Gary and I didn't know Stephen that well. I only met him in this jail. So I'm saying this because they stood by me 100%. And this firm come out, tooled up, flying out, like, come on, come on. And we just like went to have it. Like, and they all stopped and backed up and then started talking. I'm like, what? Come on then, come on then. They're like, no, we don't want it, we don't want it. So it was weird what happened. But anyway, cut a long story short, we ended up getting moved out of there and I got sent to Parkhurst. I got sent straight to Parkhurst from there after that mini riot. No, I went 1-0 first. I went 1-0. Had a bit of ag in 1-0, as you do. Because 1-0 was a gaff where they used to try to make you put your feet either side of the box, spread your bum cheeks and bend over in a strip search. So obviously, yeah, Marv took a beating. Do you know what I mean? So things like that, I'd rather take a beating, mate. Do you know what I mean? I said, I wouldn't even do that to my missus, let alone you lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Bollocks. Do you know what I mean? So there's certain things I wouldn't do and I'd have to fight and get bent up and taken down the block. Certain times they'd say, go on, Herbert, go through. But they'd always ask, but I would never do it. Anyway, on this one day, it's got a bit lemony. He said he's going to come back to the cell. And then they've come to the cell. And then it was my cellmate, an Irish fella. Yeah, an Irish fella. And an Irish mixed race fella from Dublin. I can't even remember his name. If you do watch this or you're watching it and anyone knows this fella, yeah, get him to contact me because he stopped the screws in Wandsworth ever fucking with me. And I mean it, ever. I've never had any ag after this day, yeah? I'm telling you, this is what's happened. So basically, I've come back off the visit and I've banged up. I've gone to my cellmate. Now, the fella had a little smoke, right? He did have a little smoke, right? An Irish paddy fella, he had a little smoke. So, obviously, he wasn't an armed robber, so he wasn't my type of guy, if that makes sense. He was a different type of bloke. He was like a gentle kind of bloke. He wasn't an hard nut kind of bloke. Anyway, so when I've come back off this visit, yeah, I've gone in the cell. I've told him what's going to happen. They've not been over. The screw said, this is going to see you when we come back. I said, oh, it's going to be off. It's going to be off. So I've started barricading the door up, getting ready for them coming crashing through the door. And it's going to kick off, right? So he's gone, what officers? What officers? I said, that officer, Coyne, blah, 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 blah. He went, oh. The little fella. I was like, yeah. So don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. I was like, what are you talking about? He's an horrible... Because he had a scar down his face, this screw, right? And he was an horrible cunt. Like, horrible cunt. He said, no, just watch. I'll show you something by it. Yeah? Proper Irish accent this fella had, yeah? And he was like, same colour as me, but older. He was about 50 then, when I was 20. Yeah, when I was 20. Anyway, so they've come round. Now, I'm expecting them to come round after the visit, right? And they haven't come round after the visit. So now they're opening up. I've heard the door open, because you know you wait for them, bolt, bop, bop, bop. I've heard the door open down there, so I thought, yeah, they're opening up for dinner. So as we're opening up for slop out, they've opened up for slop out, right? And I'm not even thinking nothing of it. I can't remember this fella's name. I can't remember his name. Please contact me, man. And if I see you, I'll know your face. I'll know you. I can't remember how you look. I just can't remember your name. He said, Libby, I'm sorry. Right, so basically, he's come out of the cell, yeah, and he's gone, Mr. Coyne! Mr. Coyne! And like, I'm talking 1-0, yeah? This don't happen, yeah? Not in the 90s, yeah? And anyone will tell you this, yeah? This don't happen, yeah? 90s, yeah? Mid-90s, yeah? Mr. Coyne! Mr. Coyne! I'm telling you, yeah? I'm telling you, if anything happens to my cellmate, yeah? Anything happens to my cellmate, yeah? Forget about home, yeah? Forget about home. That's all he said to him, yeah? And he just went back in the cell and banged the door up. And he said, sit down and wait, sit down and wait. Then they just banged the whole wing up, yeah? Yeah, and then they come down and called him out of the cell. And he got out of the cell, he was out of the cell for about 10, 15 minutes, and he's come back in. And he went, you'll be all right now. I said, what happened? He said, I just had to let him know, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, he's from Dublin, and so am I. And I might be black, Marv. He said, but I've got a massive family in Dublin, and he knows who they are. Trust me, right? I was like, rah, rah. And that was it. From that day on, I never ever got any ag in one of them. So now, to stitch me up, yeah, they sent me Parko, right? I think, yeah, stitch him up, put him with all the big boys. Send me Parko. I think it could have been the worst place in the world to send me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's got to be the worst place in the world to send me. I think. Did I? No. Yeah, so basically, got to Parkhurst, turns up in Parkhurst, Gucci loafed up, dressed to the nines. So I'm saying to like, now I'm at the A-cat level, yeah. So now I've got to impress because I'm that young kid. I want to be the man. So this is where all the names are. These are where all the big boys are. South London, East London, North London, like Liverpool, Birmingham. Like these are the heavy hitters, bruv. Like I'm not even joking. I met some people in there. Do you know what I mean? Like I can never forget them. Do you know what I'm saying, John? I'll never forget them. They'll always be in my life. They'll always be in my heart. And they'll always be part of my journey. And I learned something sort of beneficial from all of them, right? From all of them, right? Now, every single person I met in there had a unique quality and a unique skill. But unfortunately, like myself, they all wasted their opportunities on mythological dreams, like myself. Do you know what I'm saying? But certain things, man, like I learned along the way. And it was from these people in the cat A's, the B cats, the A cats. And it's just a moral code they had, right? But back then it was different to what they got now. So when we were growing up, there was a lot of respect for the elders. There was a lot of respect for the position. There was a lot of respect for being accepted. You know, like people appreciated things. People had empathy towards you and your situation. People cared whether you ate. Do you understand? Like it was a different principle crime back then. I'm not justifying it or condoning it. I'm just saying it was a different principle. Now, when I got to Parkhurst, there was a few people there that I was in scrubs with. Yeah, Gary was there. Gary, Jeff, Steve, Mark, another Gary, Junior, Mark, David. Yeah. Ah. Ah. One of his pals. One was Nick with my pal. Ah, he's got a really weird name. So Junior and his Cody. Yeah. Mark, David. Oh yeah, there was some naughty members in Parkhurst. I don't really want to go into all their names. It makes me look like I'm name dropping, but Parkhurst 93, there was some sensible members, some proper members. There was a Dreader Marvin with her nephew. There was a few other people about the jail. So it was one of them things where you're on the Isle of Wight. Do you know what I mean? And you got no way of getting anything in. So the best currency was money. So I learned how to not manipulate people. It's just giving people something they never had. Do you know what I mean? Or giving people something that they wanted for free. So my little scam in prisons was that I'd find whoever was getting graft in, yeah, and because all my mates was getting graft cheaper than anybody else, they was all bringing it in and stuff like that, yeah. So all our older lot transported all the gear in and all the bollocks, right? Everyone knows I'm not talking out of school, I'm not putting anyone in it, but all the older lot, everyone knows bring all the gear in, right? So basically, we're getting gear cheaper than everybody else. So when people were serving up, like, think about it like this. I used to get an ounce of bran for 350 quid. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say to people in the shovel, if you get it for me, you can have half and just give me half. Do you know what I mean? Because it cost me nothing. And I could sell a third of that for 500 quid. Do you know what I'm saying? So it worked. And it was just a thing where I'd give people not offers in a bully way that they couldn't refuse, but just it just didn't make sense to refuse it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, my people were getting it at a price where I could get it to them and I could give them gear for free and they could give me gear to survive on. So it was just, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And it was, my people give them the gear, they brought it in and we split it. And it was as simple as that. And then we found screws, and we found briefs, and then we had my own visitors even at times bringing me bits and pieces. But my visitors used to bring me £50 notes. So I had a thing about, people know I'm not talking shit. I had a little thing about having money in the shovel, like you had to have 50s. Like, it weren't all the time, don't get it twisted. I weren't there every single day, every single bit in my bird with £50 notes, but I had a thing about having them, just having £50 notes, 500 and £1,000 worth. I don't know why, but that was just my ego, right? So I had it. So walking about Parkhurst, yeah, because you come out of Parkhurst, you go on the wing, come off the wing, walk around the yard, then you walk around this compound, and it's like a big field with tennis courts on it, and a big football pitch, and then toilets. Do you know what I mean? So all the gangsters from all around the country, the biggest gangsters in the country, are walking around this yard, and I'm walking around just thinking, who can I learn from? What can I learn? What's he in here for? What's he in here for? What's he in here for? What's he do? Oh, let me speak to him. So I go and have a speak to him. Oh, you're this man. And people will tell you, I just spoke to people. I like people. I like finding out how hard they are, how vicious they are, how far they go. Do you know what I mean? So I asked questions and they got answered. And then I made relationships with people in the prison. Parkhurst. Yeah, so we had a bit of conflict in Parkhurst. We had a little bit of conflict. Yeah, rest his soul. Now, two of these people are dead now, I believe. But basically what's happened is everybody knows what a Pete thief is. So a Pete thief is someone who nicks from your cell, right? Or nicks from someone's cell. So they're not allowed, they're not tolerated in high risk establishments at all. They're not tolerated. So basically, there's freezers and fridges in high cat prisons. Like cat A jails used to have all, and the high risk prisons have got cooking facilities. So you've got your own kitchens, right? So in the kitchen, you can cook. Do you know what I'm saying? They've got fridges where you can store your gear, and then freezers where you can store your meat, right? So we're on a food boat. It's 4 man to a food boat or 6 man to a food boat, depending on the firm, right? So I had a food boat. Big up Terry, my cake mixing pal. Yeah, he used to make all the cakes in Parkhurst, Terry. Sick. He used to make the sickest cakes. And you take them out on visits as well. So if you had a visit or your bird had a birthday, you could take a cake out on a visit and eat it on the visit. That was a good thing about Parkhurst. They had some really different rules. And it was nice, like, it was different. So basically, I learned how to cook, learned how to do everything. So everything's nice in Parkhurst. Everything's nice. And then one day, someone's had a chicken. Junior's gone down. I said, Junior, go down and grab a chicken because we're having a dinner, right? So I'm now an excellent cook. I was learning how to cook while I was in prison. So we'd learn how to do bits and pieces. So I had a little special dish I used to cook in the shovel. So I've got the chicken, we're doing the chicken. So I've asked him to go down and get the chicken. There's no chicken. I said, what are you talking about? There was a chicken. So now there's no chicken. So someone's nicked the chicken. So now who's cooking chicken? Yeah. So you go in the freezer today? You go in the freezer. So someone's gone in the freezer and took my chicken. So you've either took it by mistake and own it, yeah, or someone's took my fucking chicken. Who's got it? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I ain't being funny, yeah. I'll fucking knock everyone's chicken off the cookers, mate. Like, people know me. I'm not talking out of school. I'm not gassing, yeah. This is the kind of person I was. If I ain't eating my fucking chicken, no one's eating no fucking chicken. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go upstairs, yeah? I'm going to smoke a joint. I'm going to come back downstairs and I need my fucking chicken or no one's eating. I promise you. Right? And where it's just started, like, no one's cooked their dinners yet, yeah? Because you got 2 hours to cook your dinner, yeah? So everyone's just in the kitchen preparing their dinners. Do you know what I mean? So when I've said that, because I was a handful, and it's like everyone in the kitchen's got to do me, or people are thinking, rah, fuck, who's got his chicken, who's got his chicken, who's done this, who's done that. So then basically what's happened, we found out who took the chicken, right? But when we found out who took the chicken, the geezer has stabbed my mate through the mouth, yeah? And then the screws have copped hold of my mate, took him down the hospital and banged the geezer up, yeah? So then basically the geezer was part of another firm in the jail of so-called sensible members, right? So basically, we've all been back, when he's been stabbed, like, he's been stabbed, been taken to the hospital, but to go to the hospital, he's got to walk past my window outside. So as he walked past, I said, "You all right?" Well, he's like, "Yeah, I'm cool, man. He just prepped me in the mouth. It's in a little hole. Don't worry about it. I'll be back in a minute." So I was like, "All right, sweet, lovely." So then I knew who it was because the geezer was on the fours. I was on the twos and he was on the fours, right? So he's above me, but over there. Yeah, so I thought, right, sweet, not a problem. Right, in the morning, like I said, opening up early doors, because although you didn't have to slop out in Parkhurst, they used to open your door as if it was slop out. Then you'd have like a slop out period outside of your cell, and then they'd bang you back up again. So basically, early morning, called it slop out, even though there was no slop out, they'd open your door. So as they've opened my door, I've run up the stairs to run in this fella's cell and do him because he's done my mate in the mouth, right? Anyway, as I've run up the stairs, a few of his pals were on the landing and said, "What are you doing, mate?" I said, "What do you mean what I'm doing?" "What do you mean? Your pal's got to go, mate. What the fuck?" So one of them, yeah, has gone, "Marv, yeah, come in here." So I've gone, "What?" He said, "Come in the cell." So I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." So I've gone in the cell. Now, as God is my witness, I don't need to blow my trumpet. This is exactly what happened. So I've gone in the cell. Now, there was 5 people in the cell, right? Now, the fella that called me in the cell said, "What, you think you're a bad man coming up here with a blade?" I said, "What? What are you talking about? Your pal's a fucking Peter thief." I threw the blade on the bed and I said, "What the fuck are you going to do about it, you fucking cunt?" And then basically he's like, "What? What are you talking?" I said, What? You fucking cheeky cunt." I said, "Your pal's a Peter thief. He deserves to get everything he fucking gets, mate. What's your problem?" He said, "No. What I'm saying is you're coming up here." I got, no. I got a sea cat. That was it. I got a sea cat. So they said to me, "I'm going Coldenly." Yeah. So they come and said to me, "Do you want a sea cat?" Now think about it. I've just been given Parkhurst, right? I'm the most wildest kid you can ever imagine in the system, right? I'm just a problem. Like, so with hindsight now, I know why I got the sea cat, because I got released to the most secure sea cat in the country, like with automatic lock on doors and all that sort of stuff. It was like an A cat for sea cats, if that makes sense. It's weird, but yeah, it was the highest security sea cat where long termers finish off. So if you're doing a 24, yeah, and you got fucking 12 years left, you'll go to Coldenly kind of thing, like, and you work your way out from there to Blantyre House and certain other places, right? So when I got off with the sea cat, I thought, sea cat, within a year, I'll have that, sweet, yeah. So I said, go from Parkhurst to what do you call it? Coldenly, yeah. So bam, gets to Coldenly now. And obviously now I've been Parkhurst, I'm a fucking proper gangster, right? So I'm in Parko, mate, yeah? Parko, mate, yeah? So now, Marv's a gangster, been Parko, right? And that was how my head was. I've been Parko, been round all the boys. I've punched a few men up there. I've slapped a few gangsters. Do you know what I mean? I've terrorised a few screws. I've made a name for myself. There's a bit of a buzz about Marvin Herbert in the prison system, and I was buzzing, right? So bam. Goes to Coldenly, turns up at Coldenly. Obviously, your name rings out in prison because of your parcels, your fights, your bits and pieces. Your name rings, right? So I get to Coldenly and a few people know I'm coming. People, da. Anyway, had a couple of run-ins with a couple of people in there. But the funniest thing, I've got to say it, nah, he ain't going to be happy about this, yeah? He ain't going to be happy. I won't mention his second name, but he won't be happy about this. But we used to play football. I don't know why I'm telling you this, right? Because even today, this was like 35 years ago. Was it 35? No, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, yeah? And the look on the, like, the look on his face, like, it was next level. So basically what's happened, we're on the football pitch in Coldenly. And this is when it all started going pear-shaped. On the football pitch, all of a sudden, Ambrose, right, he's giving everyone direction, telling them what to do, where to go. And he's like the captain, like he's the whatever he's what they do on the manager. He's like a manager on the pitch, right? So he's screaming and shouting at everyone, like, and he's well educated, so people listen to him, right? People listen to him, but no disrespect to Ambos, yeah. When I was a wild man, like full of that testosterone, everything was too long for me. Everything used to be long, so I was like, oh, fucking hurry up, mate. Anyway, so he's there giving his direction and giving what he's doing, yeah. Now I know him, yeah. I actually understand the insult that I'll give him this day. Yeah. But he's there, because he's like one of us, but he speaks really eloquently. He's posh, right? But he comes from the same streets as us. Right? So he speaks like a proper middle class dude. Well educated. I really respect Ambrose. So basically, he's there, jab. So what I've done, I've got my nutsack, yeah, and I've put it on the outside. I've done it. So I've got my nutsack and I put it on the outside of my thing there. And I put my t-shirt over my nuts like that, yeah. And I've gone, am. And as he turned around, I went, mate, this is a load of bollocks, like that. And I've lifted my t-shirt up, yeah, mate. Listen, he come. The look on his face, yeah, was just horrified, yeah. And he's come marching up the field and he stuck it on me. He said something to me and then just walked off, yeah. I thought, rah. So we got unfinished business, something like that, he said. And we sorted out an issue we had. And then we started training boxing and becoming pretty close after that. And his brother-in-law became a good friend of mine. Sadly passed away. Rest in peace, my brother. And yeah, and that started to form a relationship that still forms today. But I had to tell that story about Coldly. Anyway, so I'm in Coldly, giving it a big one, getting the parcels in, puffing, drinking, partying, doing what you do. And then the final straw was Pulp Fiction. There was 5 movies come out around the same time as Pulp Fiction. True Lies. There was all these latest films, 5 of them. And back in the day, there was like 15, 20 quid for a video cassette player. And like, my bird had just had a baby, do you know what I mean? So she's gone out and spent 75 quid on loads of videos for me because the screw said I could have them, yeah? So I've gone out, told her what videos I want. She's gone out and bought them and sent them in. The screws have then opened the videos, yeah? And then said to me, we can't watch them. I said, why? They said, we can't watch them. And I was like, why? They said, we can't watch them. I said, listen, you said I could get them sent in. My missus has sent them in. I told you what films are coming in. You said get them sent in. I've got them sent in. You've opened them up now, and now you're telling me I can't watch them. What are you fucking playing at? Am I some sort of a cunt? Anyway, everyone that knows me knows that I just went nuts, right? So I've gone crazy, you cheeky cunt. Who do you think I am? If I ain't watching my videos, no one's watching my videos. And in Coldenly, and people know because it happened, right? In Coldenly, they've got a communal video. So they put one video on them on one wing, and it goes on the 4 wings. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and all the video rooms watch the same video. So I want my videos on. I'm going to smash them up, mate. I don't give a fuck. I want my videos. Anyways, but yeah, a minute. So I just picked up the video and just smashed the video up in the office. Kind of a very long story short. Coldenly was like a semi. It was weird. It was just really relaxed, and they weren't violent. The screws never really bent you up in there. But then basically what happened is I've smashed the thing, gone up to my cell, and then they've called me down to the office and they just said, look, Herbert, right, you got 2 choices. Right, we've rung a cab and you can go to One-O, or we can bend you up and take you down the block. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, sweet, I'll go One-O. I'll go and pack my gear. So I've gone and packed all my gear, and that was it. I went to One-O. Do you know what I mean? Gone to One-O. Thinking, what the fuck's all this about? Gone to One-O now. And now, you got to remember, Mr. Coin. Yeah? Mr. Coin now. I'm thinking, fuck, this is going to be agged. We're going to get agged. Anyway, got to One-O. Never had no ag. Got on the wing, never had no ag. Started puffing, never had no ag. I could talk where I wanted, never had no ag. So I'm all right in One-O now. Yeah? I'm feeling sweet. Everything's custy. Do you know what I mean? Nah, where did I go from there? Because I wasn't even into the sentence a year then. So then I went to Swellside. And that's when it just went not pear-shaped, but Swell side is where I actually impacted with everyone because it was like a cauldron of lost souls of mad, vicious anger. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and no one was friendly apart from your friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was one of them situations where it was dog eat dog. It was dog eat dog. Do you know what I'm saying? So basically, Swellside was just a. First, I walked in, goes in, that's where I first met Shakesy as well. Me and Shakesy, my brother. And they used to call us him and her. So Swellside was a place where all the hardest villains was finishing off big long sentences, coming in, getting to all sorts of Blantyre houses and all these other places, resettlements and that, yeah. So people got to, from the big ones to Swellside, to go on to resettlements and other jails and that, to Elmley, Maidstone and places like that. It was like a stop off for the double cut A's who were working their way down. That was how it was sort of tried to be set up, and it just went pear shaped. But yeah, it was very volatile, very violent. There was a couple of people who got served up in there, like really bad. I served a couple of people bad up in there. Yeah, so gets to Swellside 1993. Now, Lenny, my old buddy, told me to look out for Shakesy. He said, you can't miss him. He walks with a bit of a limp. I'll come out on the spur, looking up the wings for any geezer walking with a limp. I've seen this geezer walking, I thought, that's got to be him. I walked up to him. As I was walking up to him, he went, Marv. I went, Abe. He went, yeah. I said, sweet, what's happening? And then that was it. That was all that was needed with me and Abe. We become really close, still close today. Me, him, Kane, Kerry. Like, been friends. They've been to Spain. Like, everything. We've been families from ever since. Way back when. And basically, that was it then. It was just finishing off this bit of bird and causing absolute havoc to the prison system. Like, I don't know, Mr. Talbot, his name was, yeah. Mr. Talbot was like, I think he was an SO at the time, but he was on everything, the most sincere and honest screw you'll ever see. And he was one of, I've seen speak to him now, right? So I've done a podcast with him, and he respects us as men, and he see the qualities that we had when we were young. And I've actually done some work with him since I've been straight, you know. But yeah, he was on with the security, the SWAT teams, the swag teams, like, and it was just cloak and dagger, ups and downs, snakes and ladders, and it was about who could get the most parcels, who could do the most gear, and who could get the most bits. And it was just chaotic. And at this stage of my life, I was wild. So we've been to Swellside twice. So the first time in Swellside, it was very confrontational, very ag. I was on it. Like, you want it, let's have it. Let's fucking have it. So there was a couple of people in there. I had not a serious row, but one of the lumps in there, old muscles. I've got to hail you out, my brother. Do you know what I mean? But him and his brother, they was like, I'm Robert from East London. Like, really sensible, really nice fellas. Muscles was, how could you put it? It was like the more mature one. Like, Berger was a little bit wild, like the rest of us, you know. So we had a little bit of an altercation, nothing serious over him thinking I owed him something for something. We had a party one night and it kicked off. And no, not kicked off fighting, but we was having a party. And I lift everyone load of gear, and then I've gone to him for a bit of puff a few days later, and he's tried to charge me for it. So I've gone back to him. I said, what are you talking about? How the fuck can you charge me for a bit of puff when I'll give you a parcel the other day after that party? He said, but I'll sell my puff. I said, I don't give a fuck, mate. What are you playing at? And with that, Muscles has come behind me with a big old frying pan. I was like, what the fuck are you doing with that? And he was like, what? I said, what are you coming up behind me with that for? And then he tried to ring it, saying, he didn't know what was going on. I said, you know my voice. And anyway, cut a long story short, I've slipped off the spur, right? And then it was like a running joke for a little while. And then basically one day I used to box with Chrissy in the changing room. We used to do the pad work. So he walked in one day with his little entourage of villains, and he's gone, yeah, pads don't hit back, mate. I said, yeah, I know. I said, you can though, can't you? He's like, what? I said, you can though, can't you? He said, what? I said, you can though, can't you? You cunt. Yeah? And he went, what? I said, well, come on, man, stop talking your bollocks, yeah? All this bollocks all the time, chat, 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 chat. Put the gloves on, man, let's spar, innit? What's the matter with you? And he was like, yeah. And then everyone's got behind him then. Yeah, come on, come on. I said, come on, what's the matter with you? Let's have it, mate. Put the gloves on. And now he's had to put the gloves on. But where are you? I must have been, I don't know, 18, 19 stone. He was a lump, do you know what I'm saying to you? But I was agile and he couldn't punch me. And I just bobbed and weaved. He blew out of his arse and I was taking the piss out of him. And that was, it wasn't a malicious battle. It was just one of them scenarios where he had to respect me. I know that, he knows that, and it's all love, baby. But yeah, it's one of them moments where people see me differently. Do you know what I'm saying? You like, because I took a couple of his punches and boom, boom, bop, 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 and I was like, come on, come on, come on, yeah, and it was nice. And then basically after that, it just became chaotic, and that's when they first started the basic. We were the first people on basic. Me, Gary, Mark, and that was all I can remember. Oh mate, we had some mad times in there because when they first started basic, you couldn't get nicked for being on basic. You only get reevaluated for the standard, enhanced, or basic. And then yeah, we called murders down there. Miss Taylor, my nemesis. We fought and fought and fought, and that was it, mate. It was just fighting, violence, bend up, beatings, everything. Yeah, and then yeah, that was just a chaotic moment of fighting every day with the screws, getting bent up every day by the screws, but they couldn't take you to block. They had to put you back in your cell, and it was just madness. Do you know what I mean? How they started, it was crazy, but that was all happening in there. And then what happened? Why did I get moved out? Because I got moved out. That was it. So they took me off base. So we're coming to the end of this now, yeah? Because they took me off basic, right? So they took me off basic and put me on the wing. So they put me back on the wing. So now, and everyone will know this, right? Burger Muscles, everyone will know this, right? Scatter and them lot were there. Yeah, I'll give you that. They was all there. Colin, rest in peace. It was all there. Anyway, what happened is, it was an Irish fella, or a little Irish firm, and they owed something to one of the black boys, yeah? So then basically, I've having it with the Irish fellas, obviously, I was having it with them, right? So I was doing bits, so I'm like, bruv, I ain't letting him talk to you like that. He's like, what? I said, don't let him talk to you like that. Mate, seriously, yeah, I punched him up in the gym the other day, yeah? You'd have a good go with him. You can have a good tear up, mate. Come on, man. Don't be scared of these people, man. Stand up for yourself. Come on. And I've G'd all these lot up, yeah, to have it. So it looked like a race riot, although it wasn't. It was just a couple of people having it with a couple of people. It just seemed that this spur was more whiter than this spur. Do you know what I'm saying? That was all it was. But anyway, it's kicked off. And it's kicked off with the Irish lot and the black lot is kicked off, right? So we're all watching the fight, it's kicked off. And then, I've got to tell you this story. I've got to tell this story. If I don't tell this story, Abe will have the ump, right? So basically, everyone's getting swagged. It's all different jails now because of this riot, right? So we're sitting outside the window, me and Abe, because he's next door to me, right? So we're sitting there smoking a joint. I said, mate, what's been happening? We're talking. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, yeah, two little rats just popped up. Started like that, talking to each other, right? And then he's gone to me, he said, what's your pals want, mate? I was like, what are you talking about? He said, who's your pal? I said, what are you on about? He said, who's your pal? Next thing, both of the rats, yeah, talk to each other like that, yeah. I said, what are you talking about? And as I started talking, they both turned around like that. It's like, me. Like, look, your males are talking to you. It was one of the funniest things. Like, you had to be there to explain it, or to imagine it, but it was like a running joke me and Abe had for years. Like, yeah, it was crazy. I was like, it was like little meerkats talking to each other and then talking to me at the window, talking to me at the window. It was crazy. But yeah, the mule got ghosted out, and then I got ghosted to Canterbury, and that was it. I was in Canterbury for a few months, met a few boys involved with all the transporting puff and all that. A few boys down there from old Kent, the old Kent boys. Your boys, boysy, yeah. Yeah, there was some naughty little members down there for a few hundred ton of, a couple of ton of puff. People nicked for around there, and then basically, I got a message that my mum had a heart murmur, and they was releasing me a month early, and I got released in January 1997. I got picked up, and the first thing I ate was a little chef. Yeah, 1997, little chef, and that was 25 years of age. I come out of jail as a young man with a different dream, different idea, and a different passion, and that was 19 to 25. All right, so I'm going to have a little break tomorrow because I've got to travel and I've got to have dinner for my 50th with a few friends. So Saturday and Sunday, I may have a rest. I'll let you know via a post whether I'm going to work the weekend tomorrow afternoon. If not, I will see you all on Monday. Stay safe, stay focused, stay positive. Never mind nothing but the truth. Hello? 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 Oh, ended. Nothing but the truth with Marvin Herbert. Have a great night. See you all tomorrow.